Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to probably take a little different vein and a different approach. I'm here to try to figure out solutions, what we can do. I have 39 counties that I represent in Iowa, and they all are rural. They're all small Main Street businesses, and this was a great thing. The employee retention tax credit did exactly what it did. It sounded like, right? It created payroll at a time when government was requiring businesses to shut down. So it was very critical. And I get it. I mean, when you roll something out so fast, you're trying to resolve something, you know, you're going to have a lack of clarity. You're going to have a struggle with eligibility and stuff like that. But think of how much time has gone past now since this has actually occurred. I mean, it's been, you know, almost 18 months to 2 years. And we still have businesses that have little guidance from the IRS, little education on who qualifies, and you know, very little customer service, which all my small businesses are really struggling with. So my question is this, Mr. Gray, what can we do? Solution, you know, it seems like there's a lack of education or there's a lack of IRS guidance on the ERTC, and obviously it's creating fraud, related to fraud. Do you have any solutions of what we can do in this area?
Excellent question. I'm glad you asked it. I'll try to be quick. Number one, like offshore accounts, and they did with the cryptocurrency, send out some soft letters, send out. So if they right now would send a letter to everybody that's got the credit and everybody in the future, and in this letter say, you need to file the amended return, yep, the income tax return. Here's the most common reasons, like they just issued this memo, council memo on the supply chain. Yep. That right there, that letter yesterday changed to client. So communicate in this letter, these are the most common mistakes that are being made. Offer an amnesty program to where that if non-for-profit yesterday in Atlanta, the woman's a volunteer. She signed it, and she now realizes it's wrong.
Right.
But now she doesn't have any guidance on how to give it back.
Correct.
So when people want to come forward and say, I made an honest mistake, I didn't know, allow an avenue to do that. On the 941X, start today and say there's going to be accountability to whoever is assisting and doing that clerical work. Who are you? Sign it. What's your fee, or how are you charging? But my point of it is that type of stuff is even bigger than the guidance. And then finally, you know, IRS doesn't have a permanent chief counsel. No, and that's right, where I look at and the taxpayer looks at to get guidance. So what do you expect? And that's why I said in my testimony, it starts at the top. Yes. Who is in charge to make that appointment? And why it takes so long? I don't need to know the answer, just get it done.
No, and Mr. Gray, you're exactly right. I mean, frankly, it does start at the top, and it starts with the IRS. It starts with putting the right people in place. Just like any business, right? You have to answer, and you have to have customer service, and this is not happening.
Yeah, it may even go higher than that.
Yes.
Because who appoints the chief counsel?
I get it. I hear what you're saying. Yes, yes. Why isn't that happening? That's a great concern.
Hey, it'll help the IRS out.
Yep.
It'll help the taxpayer out,
yep,
the small business out, and our rural communities.
That's correct. So I got another question. This is for Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, so I have a situation, a small business. It's a family-owned business, all right? And they employed some of their family during this time. And we had multiple attempts by the owner, by our office, to figure out if they qualified or not. And ultimately, the IRS cited work opportunity tax credit, and this is the quote, conceptually designed to prevent family members from taking advantage of wage subsidies where there isn't a true employee relationship. But all these small businesses on Main Street, Iowa, Main Street, USA, they employ family. Exactly. And this is my biggest problem. So my question to you, Mr. Harris, is do family-owned and operated businesses, how do they get some of these dollars, and how can they provide documentation that prove that they are not fraudulently collecting for the ERC?
Well, I want to say go to a mill because they don't care, but that's not the correct answer. It is a challenge, and we got guidance on that partly into it. So you had people who had already applied, and then we found out that family members have this rule, and now we're hearing that maybe they don't have this rule. This is another example of where we need clear, permanent guidance so that the people can rely on what they're doing. Because honestly, and Larry can speak up, I don't think they qualify under the IRS rules today, but I don't know what it'll be tomorrow.
Right, but they just need clarity.
They need clarity.
Bottom line, because then you
One
don't
way or the
file.
other.
They just need to know. Thank you, Mr. Harris.
If that's a hypothetical, they don't qualify.
Thank you, and I yield back.